Hey everyone, welcome back to the Drifter Journey channel and our last video of 2023. It's been a big year for us. We spent some time traveling, but a lot of time building a house. But we got a dog, wherever she is, right there. So we're gonna go over the year, show you guys some highlights, and try to go over what's next for next year.
Big things for 2024.
If you want to support us and the channel, please shop through our links. It gives us a small commission at no extra cost to you. And as always, thank you so much for watching, for your comments, and for your continued support. We appreciate you. We started 2023 by crossing the border to Baja the day after New Year's. It's the earliest we've been able to leave for our annual migration south. We knew it might be our last year exploring Baja in the van, so we were determined to make it the best year yet. Every time we travel the Baja Peninsula, we return to old favorite spots and also find new areas to explore, and this year was no exception. Beginning our journey at the largest wine producer in Mexico, El Aceto, we loaded up on delicious wine and headed towards a swell that was coming towards the Pacific coast. We got lucky with the waves and Greg had a great time surfing. Although this is a more popular spot in Baja for surfing, the first time we came down in 2019, there was no swell and it was a ghost town. This year, it was the opposite, and after the first couple days of fun waves, a huge swell came in and Greg was sidelined. We spent a day watching more experienced surfers test their limits and sit in awe of the ocean. As usual, this season in Baja was made up of stretches on the beach, punctuated by taco tours in the next town. We really enjoyed spearfishing this year, as Greg geared up with better equipment before we left, and it paid off in full. We were able to get bigger fish and feel more confident in shooting further without missing. Don't get me wrong, there were still plenty of misses, but we also ate ceviche and fish tacos most days of the week while camping beachside. Probably the biggest highlight of the whole year came within the first 3 weeks when we were camping at one of my favorite beaches. A hungry beach dog came to our camp and chose to spend the night guarding our van. The next morning, she followed me the whole way up the nearby hill for my sunrise hike, happily going wherever I went. She was so sweet but was clearly hungry and in need of better care. We are so grateful that she walked up to our camp that night and that her owner recognized she needed more than he could give her. Now that I know how sweet and loving she is, I can imagine how hard the decision was for him, and I'll always respect Juan Pablo for doing what was best for Lupe. We spent a whole week in La Paz enjoying Carnival, an annual celebration with elaborate parades and costumes, live music, and special events. We experienced this for the first time in 2019 and loved the culture-rich experience. But due to COVID, it was suspended for several years. So when we heard it was back on for 2023, we reserved an Airbnb and decided to check it out in Baja California Sur's capital city, La Paz. Along with Carnival, we also enjoyed Escapar, a free van event at Playa Tecolote. We enjoyed time with friends and had some of our most successful spearfishing days yet.
Let's take a quick second to talk about this video's sponsor. It is Epic Water Filters. They are out of Boulder, Colorado. They make Nalgene's with everywhere water filters that you can replace without throwing away the plastic. Does over 550 single-use bottles. They've got countertop water filters. They have in-fridge pitchers to keep it cold, and a new under-sink water filter that does over 5,000 single-use bottles. Use code DRIFTERJOURNEY for 20% off and check out the link for the website below.
On our way back north, we stopped in several of our favorite places like Loreto, where we treated ourselves to delicious food at the many good restaurants and street vendors there. Along the coast of Bahia de Concepcion, we told ourselves that we were going to try other beaches and expand our horizons, but we only made it one night before we were back at our favorite beach, Playa El Coyote. This was to be our last true beach camp in Baja on our way north, and we spent several days spearfishing and enjoying the sunshine. Leaving Mexico and coming back into California is always a bit of a culture shock. We're always grateful for better infrastructure and clean tap water, but the simplicity of life in Mexico more than makes up for those things. And leaving this year, knowing that it might be a while before we came back, was very bittersweet. But we had a huge undertaking coming in our future, and we're looking forward to tackling our house build in Colorado. With the Baja in our rearview mirror, we headed towards the next phase of our journey. To start our house build, we had to coordinate several logistics first. We needed to sell the van and get a truck for our property, but before we could sell the van, we had to find something else to live in. Enter the R-Pod camper. We moved into the R-Pod and put the van up for sale. Selling the van was a big transition, one that marked the beginning of many more to come. It was the end of our 5-year adventure as full-time travelers. While we were looking forward to a home base and a truck camper, going from full-time travel to managing construction of our house full-time was a big change. We bought a new Chevy Colorado, a truck Greg has been wanting for a couple of years now, and have big plans to build it out so that we can access deeper and more wild country than ever before. We are loving the truck so far and are really excited for our camper to be installed in early 2024. Progress on our house consisted of what felt like fleeting moments of progress sprinkled between long stretches of waiting for the next thing. We took advantage of local hiking opportunities and got to know our new hometown a little bit better. As summer passed and fall came, it was becoming clear that we wouldn't be getting into the house before winter set in. We experienced our first snow in many years since moving into the van and migrating south every winter. Despite not being a winter person, I must admit that it was really beautiful. And as I reflect on 2023, I am once again so astonished by the life we have created for ourselves. The gift of hindsight always has a way of making a picture more clear. Despite the last 6 months of being incredibly challenging with managing the construction of our house and the loss of my job, I recognize that only by living through struggle can we appreciate times of peace. We have so much to be grateful for and look to 2024 with excitement and gratitude.